Hello, Troy. Welcome back to Zone In with Taylor. I am your host, of course, Taylor Bruner, zoning inspector for the city of Troy. We are here with Bobby Phillips, the Ward 4 member. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So really, let's go into introduction. So you want to just remind the people who you are, what do you represent, a little bit of background about yourself.
Cool. My wife and I didn't move to Troy or to Ohio until 2007. We had a grandchild with a medical issue, so we came out to help the family. Originally, primarily from California. I was a policeman out there for 30 plus years. I've been in public service now 47-ish.
Oh, wow.
And shortly after we moved here, I took an interest in politics because as a police officer, you can't become involved and hold office and stuff like that. So about 2 years after we were here, I got elected to the Ward 4 council seat and have been on council. This is my 17th year.
Wow.
And it's been a real fun experience, very active. We don't have much problem in the 4th Ward. I don't get a lot of communication from folks, but if somebody does phone, call, email, or text or whatever, they get a response almost immediately. So it's great, and I've met thousands of folks here in town and the business people and things, and it's a strange or an anomaly for Troy in how welcoming the city is and the county with embracing people that come in and assimilate into them and getting to know the history of Troy. I really get a kick out of the long-term generational ties to a city or a county and all of the inventions and in history and military, industrial stuff that has happened in this area throughout America's history. It's amazing to walk into our cemeteries and see the American Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried there and the families that are there. It's fantastic to me.
Yeah, Doug Tremblay at the Troy History Library. I mean, he's a great one to talk to about the history, but I don't think a lot of people understand how much what came from Troy and Dayton as a whole. I mean, it is very interesting, and I would encourage anybody to learn about the history of this city because it is fascinating.
It is, absolutely is.
Yeah. So what you kind of gave a background about, 17 years you said with the council. So do you have a, kind of a time that's most memorable, I guess, part of being about council, or there's a lot of council meetings you've been a part of, but is there something, that sticks out that was the most memorable?
Well, dealing with Treasure Island and then all of the park stuff that we dealt with over time, was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And even going back to the Operation Recreation levy that we tried to get passed with all of the sports things that we potentially were trying to expand, is exactly the same position that we're in today.
Yeah.
And if we had had the levy passed then, it would all have been paid for. The levy would have been sunsetted. Everything would have been done. And, there are some things that taxpayers react to more strongly than others, and I get that. But when you're looking big picture, I think dealing with individuals that don't become involved or don't ask questions, they jump to opinions and conclusions that are not correct. So that was an interesting time.
Yeah.
And which brings us again to today, to all of the parks and recreational needs and things we're trying to address, and we're dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me that it carried well. Backing up and continue with the thought, it boils over into the county issue also with the jail.
Yeah.
And that sales tax increase that potentially could pay for that thing within 10 years. And there was a dead end to that increase. And the public, with their comments, they just don't understand that legally there are things that we have to do for arrestees and not do for them but do as a consequence of what society is demanding we do, particularly with healthcare. There's the drug addiction thing is so large, mental health is so large that folks don't understand how impactful on a positive side these things can be. So it's just those kind of topics are huge to me.
Yeah, definitely. And I do want to remind people what a ward represents, right? So I don't think I mentioned in the last episode, but he is Ward 4. So essentially that's all your West Market Street, Kroger area. Dorset is included in that.
Right.
But a ward, essentially, they have to represent the same amount of people, the population of Troy, within 1%. So everybody represents, the same amount within that 1% range. But
well, back several years ago when Troy reached the 25,000 population number, that's when we had to do a reallocation of the ward and add 2 council seats.
Yeah.
So we went from 4 wards to 6, and the city engineer just basically did a GIS algorithm thing, divided the city into an equal number for the wards, and they're fairly close.
Yeah.
And so the Ward 4 is the southwest corner. I mean, that's the easiest way to kind of define it in generalities. And we have a huge stretch from residential, single family, to Section 8, to some high dollar homes. The city limits has expanded, especially into Swales, Nashville, and 55 area, with our new subdivisions and the potential new subdivision coming in a couple of years. And it directly affects me because the newest one at Swales and Nashville is right out my back door.
Yep.
And then directly to the west of the Kensington subdivision where I live. So
there's a lot happening.
Yes, plus fairly good size industrial stuff in my area that over in Archer Drive, and then McCaig, just off of McCaig and stuff with the backside of Comeo and things. And retail with Kroger and some mom and pop stores spread throughout. So we have a very diverse ward.
Yeah. And
some of the other wards, a couple of the other wards are similar, but we have some really heavy residential things. So.
Yeah, and we'll get to the development a little bit later, and I want to showcase some of the new things coming to the ward and kind of the numbers through it. But what's one way you stay connected with the residents, of your ward, and if they have any concerns, how can they reach you?
Oh, well, on the city website, I mean, all of the council folks and actually the department heads have phone numbers and emails. It's very easy to find. We're undergoing some redevelopment of our website through the city and stuff, so that's hopefully make it a little bit more interactive and easy to find stuff, because that's been a complaint of a couple of council folks over the years that we're difficult to find stuff. It's all there. It just takes a little and I know there's a lot of folks out there that are not computer savvy, or they're not intuitive to computers and things. I get it. However, it's self-initiation that I feel that goes on both sides, from the consumer end and from the producer end. And so I don't know sometimes how much we spoon feed people. And I'm very direct when I talk to folks, whether they call me or email me with a complaint and they're angry, generally they walk away happy with having the conversation and the explanation, rather than just being angry. And I will reflect back to my police days, 5 years on a motorcycle in traffic enforcement, and I gave as many tickets as anybody. And I spent the least time in court because I sold my tickets. Just explain to them why they got stopped, that type thing. So if you go into it with that attitude, I think that you're going to wind up with a better product in the end, or happy resolution and stuff. But getting back to how they contact me, email, phone number, or personal contact when we are around town in restaurants or businesses or whatever. And I get a lot of that. And but very few, when we have a controversial subject come up at council, very, very, very few emails or phone calls.
Yeah.
I just had a gentleman the other day call about spraying a ditch. Well, he didn't really give me a good location, and I asked him to summarize in an email back to me so that I could get this. I just came back from 2 weeks vacation out of state, and he caught me at a time when I didn't have a pen or paper or anything.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get locations and things, and he didn't do it. So when I come back and I ask a question, we don't spray ditches.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is this a township or a county problem? Well, lots of questions around it.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking for the gentleman to come
Give
back
an
to
answer,
me
yeah.
so I can actually answer the problem
Yep.
or the question and direct him to the appropriate agency if need be.
Yeah.
So
No doubt. So with Troy, is there like a favorite place you guys go to or a favorite thing to do? We have a lot to offer.
Yeah, we do. My wife has a medical condition, so I try to get her out of the house quite a bit, at least once a day, to go to lunch or something. And so we have kind of a rotation of restaurants.
Yeah.
We've tried every one, the new ones that come in and stuff, and we always have our favorites.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of money in the economy,
Yeah.
food-wise, which is
But you like the downtown?
downtown and the corridor,
Yeah.
reaching west of town on Main Street,
Yeah.
where the restaurants are and stuff.
Awesome.
And even up to Redberry,
Yeah.
on the north end,
Yeah.
and things like that. So we try to get around, outside of a ward, obviously.
Yeah.
However, I will say, give a plug to Lincoln Square, because that's kind
Yeah.
of my favorite.
Yeah.
The owner, Hector, he's a great guy and that sort of thing. But anyway, so we get around and we try to shop local as we can.
Yeah.
Stuff, we're very blue collar, coming, just as a PERS retiree,
Yeah.
working in the system. So we do what we can and get out and around and walk and talk.
That's awesome. Well, we are here in the Hobart Civic Center, and we are in the Casa JAL office. And so you sit on the board with this organization. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about Casa JAL, what they do and their mission, and
Sure.
kind of your position here?
Well, I got involved through Leadership Troy many years ago, and as an intern, one of the things on the questionnaire of Leadership Troy is, do you want to get involved with a board or some other thing? And I picked CASA, number one, because in law enforcement, we deal a lot with the kids that come through via the law enforcement angle of stuff. Sorry about that. I'll silence it. I forgot to do that. Anyway, came on as an intern, and then I did become an advocate, which is a person that deals directly with the kids and is their advocate in the court system. And we don't care what the parents say or the prosecutor or anybody else. We're there for that child's advocacy. And that's the focus. So a couple of years, and I did a couple of cases with that, and then I got out of that because of circumstances, and came on board the board, and I'm past president. We're a very, again, child-centric organization for abused, neglected, or dependent children. And I think the logo behind me says a lot of stuff. And we have grown the organization and the kids that we service. The number continues to go up. It does not, it cycles a bit. We're kind of in a down phase, which is perfect. We want it to go to zero. Would love to have the organization go away, but the need is so great, and that sort of thing. So been here a number of years. We have a great board. We have an outstanding executive director who's going to be leaving us at the end of this year. So we're in the search of a new executive director. And recruitment to the board for specific needs and that sort of thing. So it's a very thing close to my heart, and it's excellent for the community, and it produces great kids that take advantage of all the things that we have to offer and stuff. So
yeah, that's great. Well, the next, let's talk about development. So in this ward, we have a lot going on. Like he said, it's the southwest side of town. It's home to some of our largest employers in the city. So you have Clopay, you have Collins Aerospace, you have Crown, and then you have some of the newer builds. The Miami County One Stop Shop is out there. You have Troy Business Park that is growing. There's a new restaurant coming to there. Details still yet to come, so look out for that one. But yeah, a lot of exciting things happen on that side. Subdivision wise, we're adding more than 700 new homes to the community, but most of them happen to either the north or the west side of town. And in his ward, you have Somerset Reserve, which is off Nashville 55 area, and then you have Reserve at Cliff Oaks that they're doing off of Finner. And like he said, there's a ton of annexations that have happened around that area. So yeah, possible in the future for development, but yeah, a lot of land has been annexed, and excited to see what comes. Now, code violation wise, you guys do pretty good. I ran the numbers, so this is just this year. We have 14% of all code violations happen in Ward 4. Really, the top one is just tall grass and weeds. That's the most common. That's probably more than 80% of all our code cases are tall grass and weeds. So reminder for that, again, it's everything over 10 inches tall is a violation, so make sure we're out mowing. The other one actually is shrubbery overgrowth. So that was a new ordinance that was passed through council, and so really what that tells is any overgrowth that is in a sidewalk, an alley, a street has to be trimmed back, so there's no obstruction. You can have a tree canopy overhang an alley, sidewalk, street. However, that height has to be 8 feet. So there's a clear, unobstructed walkway through it. So that's another common one. The other is just property maintenance. With aging housing stock, things are going to be deteriorated and need replaced. So we don't expect everybody to, repair a house in a weekend, but essentially, make sure we're continually working on the house and making sure it's up to date with compliance. But we're more than happy to work with you on identifying what's a property maintenance violation, right? And working with you on a solution. So that's code violations. We're doing pretty good. Permit wise, we're at 24% of all permits happen. So almost a quarter of all permits happen in his ward. And again, that's all new homes being built. You have a ton of fences. Fences happen all the time in your ward. And then accessory structures, so people get new pools. It could be sheds or anything like that. But yeah, a lot happens in that side of town. But yeah, a lot of exciting things, and hopefully we see that growth continue to happen. We do have a lot of vacant old farm field that's commercially zoned, and so hopefully we get some developers come in here. I know there's one right on the highway that's for sale, and has a lot of frontage, and then we have one big parcel that's along 55. So hopefully we get a huge entertainment type of use come in here, and exciting new restaurants or something good to come. But
if I could interrupt you just a moment. Most of the code enforcement issues that we deal with are coming from residents, or that they're not generated by the city staff.
Right.
Now, there's obvious ones are gross things that staff will see as we drive around the city and stuff. And that does happen, but the vast majority is your neighbors complaining about you, and they don't want to give their name and things, which they call, email, whatever, and that's how they're generated through us. We have a lot of complaints about people with farmland being converted to X, Y, or Z use.
Right.
Well, that's outside of the city's purview. That's an individual property owner issue, with what they want to do with their property.
Right.
A farmer. My brother-in-law in California is huge with his farmland and very diversified in what he does. And I was talking to his two sons over the last 2 weeks when I was out there about succession plans. And the general population does not understand that if a farmer doesn't have a succession plan for a piece of property and they decide to retire, what's their option? Sell it, make their money, and get out and retire. Because not a lot of people are wanting to become farmers. Generally, that's generational within the family.
And with zoning, a lot of times, if you remember episode 1, what is zoning, right? So it's just land use and regulations. But with a parcel, every parcel is different, it has a zoning district assigned to it, but the city can only regulate that use that's coming if it's a principally permitted use. So again, it has to be, permitted within that zoning district, but, we can't stop something that's, permitted to be there per
It's
zoning.
got to follow
So
the rules.
it has, certain development standards that have to meet. Sometimes if it abuts against a residential neighborhood, we have a buffer yard. So, great screening from the residents, but other than that, it's hard to, stop it when it's a permitted use, and we can only regulate it. So,
Well, and off of that, dealing with a very large business here in town that is dealing with building a new building at the moment, with the residents that abut to that in their smallish neighborhood, it impacts them. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
yeah.
And the business was pretty darn good in negotiating with them and listening to their issues and mitigated those as far as they could. There's another business in town right off of 55 and 75 that a number of years ago that neighbors in the township were complaining about it because it was on city property or within the city limits, about lighting and some other things that were going to happen. The sky was falling type attitude. And it turns out that the business isn't open after midnight. The lighting is very subdued. The traffic issues are not there as warranted, or as they suggested they were going to be impactful to the neighborhood. And when you get into the not in my backyard mentality and thought processes, you have to kind of, if it abides by the rules and meets the punch list, there's not much we can do. And there, one of our neighboring cities had a subdivision that was complained about because it was the lower scale dollar number next to a high dollar, the residential neighborhood, and they somehow got the city council to vote against it, which the developer then turned around and sued that city government and won millions of dollars because they met all the criteria. And just because you think that something shouldn't be there doesn't mean legally it can't.
Right.
And most of the developers and business people are very attuned to being good neighbors. They contribute a lot in our cities by supporting youth sports, medical programs, benefits to their employees, beautification, a myriad of things that they contribute to this society and the population that the residents really never stop and think about.
Right.
And they employ people, which increases the tax base for the city because we don't generate money from property taxes. That's a county and a state issue.
Right.
Income tax is our sole source, if you will. And even the sales tax is a county issue. It's not a city issue. And that's, sometimes I get a little irritated when people complain about X, Y, or Z, and it's not the city.
Right.
Our taxes have not increased in years.
Yeah.
We maintain the same level. We might increase water rates, sewer rates, the rates that we have where we're providing the service, and we try to keep those as minimal as possible. And I have to say hats off to Patrick Tinnerington, our safety service director, and the auditor's office that generates the numbers and things. We try to keep those as minimal as possible, but we do, as a city governmental agency, we have to be fiscally responsible, because if we have a screw drive go down at the wastewater treatment plant, sewer plant, that's an expensive item. And water pumps, and we don't want the poop coming back uphill. We want it going downhill and into the areas that it needs to. And all of these things, whether it's parks, whether it's water, whether it's sewer, whether it's storm water, roads, potholes, asphalt is astronomically expensive today. So, and concrete, I get it, but we have to provide the infrastructure for the entire city. And one of the things when I came on to council, or when I decided to run for council, my thought process is not going to be determined by Facebook, type stuff. It's going to be the business deal for the city. What is the business decision that affects everybody, or the vast majority of people in town, whether it is a pothole or a park or whatever. And cities and governmental agencies subsidize a lot of things, and parks is one of those things, and golf course, that sort of thing. These are amenities that the population want, businesses want, and if you have to remain vital and to the outside world, because you cannot become complacent about attracting businesses and or housing and other things, or your city is really going to go downhill.
Yeah.
And that's something that Troy, in my historical dive into us, we're very progressive, and this goes back over 100 years. With all of there have been good and bad things. I'm not painting 100% glorious picture, but generally the trajectory has always been uphill. Towards the goal and doing very, very positive things. There have been battles along the way. I get it. But generally, we are always moving forward in a very positive thing for downtown and our business areas and our residentials, where they look great. We're very attractive to outside people, and you see that in the comments, for instance, in Strawberry Festival and Facebook and things, about the outside people looking in. And then I hear the inside people talking out, and sometimes they just don't know what they're talking about, because they haven't thought about the things that we mentioned earlier, about the impacts of things. And if we did not have these things, Troy would be nothing.
Right. Well, is there any other communications announcements you want to put out to the public? We have a UDC coming.
Correct.
So
we have lots of things that are on our items of interest in the council and on our city calendar. And folks, I'm going to refer you back to this website again to look at, because they're all there. You may not understand some stuff, and if you don't understand it, call and ask a question. Council folks, if we don't have the answer, we're going to go to the staff and look or get it as directly as we can. So look at it. There's a ton of stuff there. I can go down and itemize, but I'm not going to do it because it is there. It is there, and it's been mentioned in all of our council meetings, our committee meetings, and this zone in stuff. We have it out there. So people have to pay attention. Again, how much do we spoon feed? Because it's there.
And just gonna find it.
Yeah. Well, it's not a matter of finding it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's. We try to hit all the major Facebook and other social media points. So you got to look for it somewhere. Why not start with the city website?
Yeah.
It's all there.
I agree.
Okay.
Well, appreciate you coming on, and thank you for all the information, and we'll talk to you next time.
Give me a call. Give me an email. I'm here.
Thank you.